A couple months ago, we got word of the latest Godzilla-related project to be coming out of Toho's kaiju-sized maw, Godzilla Singular Point, a brand new anime series coming to Japanese televisions in April of 2021. Since then, we've gotten a few pieces of concept art, a few pieces of official art, and a trailer showcasing a wide variety of returning monsters from ye olde days. Naturally, much discussion about Toho's latest endeavor into the animated world has been brought up. Will it be good, trash, somewhere in between, better than the last anime, etc.? I figured that 2 months after the series was announced would be a good enough time for me to jump right on in and give my thoughts regarding Singular Point, because despite very little actually being shown to us, I think there is quite a few things that can be brought up. So without wasting any more time, let's dive on in and talk about Godzilla Singular Point. There was a lot of cool stuff that we have both seen and heard regarding Singular Point. For one, much bigger names in the anime industry are getting their greasy hands all over this series. Studio Bones and Orange Studio are the ones who are doing the animation of Singular Point. Both studios have worked on some pretty big anime series such as My Hero Academia and Beastars respectively. We also got other big names in the anime industry, including Atsushi Takahashi, who had previously done work on Blue Exorcist, and most exciting to Godzilla fans, Eiji Yamamoto, who has done work for Studio Ghibli films like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and The Wind Rises, will be doing the kaiju design, as well as dedicating the work that he will be doing on the anime to his deceased brother, who was a big Godzilla fan. And from the looks of it, Yamamoto seems to be doing a pretty dang good job when it comes to making all these designs. They definitely seem very much inspired by the Polygon trilogy in terms of how they are designed, going crazy with the looks of the character while still staying true to their classic designs. And for the most part, it is working out pretty well. Almost all of the designs seen here are really great. The only exception in my opinion is Rodan. And on the topic of the kaiju, it is so jarring to see all these late 60s to early 70s monster pop up again after so many years. When we got the announcement for Singular Point back in early October, I was expecting that they would be using the tried but true trio, Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and Mothra. But to the surprise of literally everyone, they were bringing back a ton of older faces that we haven't seen in nearly 50 years. I never expected that they would be bringing back characters like Titanosaurus or Jet Jaguar, or even Gabra of all things. It makes you wonder who else they're gonna bring back. Like, will they bring back other obscure Toho kaiju like Manda or Gorosaurus or Kamacuras or Kumonga or Ebra or Boulder or Baragon or Varan or... Yeah, you guys get the point. Overall, the inclusion of a lot of these older characters as well as including big names in the anime industry is something to get excited over. I know I'm definitely excited about it. However, with all this excitement running around, there are just as many concerns that I have regarding the upcoming series. So a lot of my concerns regarding Singular Point come from two big places. The first one being the animation. Don't get me wrong, I am excited that we are getting 2D animation for the human characters alongside 3D animation for the kaiju. However, from what we have seen of the animation and the character designs, thus far, I'm not too impressed with the final product. The 2D animation, from what has been shown, looks fine. There's nothing spectacular, but overall I wasn't expecting that from a television anime. The big problem comes in the form of the character designs. To be blunt, this entire cast looks like a mishmash of miscellaneous character designs from numerous shows, and I think for what this show may be going for, it doesn't work. Just to be clear, I don't mind shows having different styles for different characters. Shows that I really like, such as Gurren Lagann, have different styles for different characters. The big difference between a show like Gurren Lagann and Godzilla Singular Point is one is a fun action show, and the other isn't, from the looks of it. The trailer we have gotten for Singular Point, as well as the tagline, don't give me the impression that this is going to be a fun show. The most I would say is that this would be very similar to the middle stretch of Evangelion, a fairly grounded monster of the week type show that focuses on a team of heroes that try to stop monsters that are all related to a singular entity to prevent some sort of catastrophe. So I think there is a fair comparison to be made between both shows, and given Ava's monstrously large influence over the anime industry, I wouldn't be surprised if there were a big influence on this show as well. Evangelion as a show has a very consistent look for all of its characters. They all look like they came from the same show, which I think is a good thing, as it would be distracting to have characters that look completely different from each other in the same show that has a more serious tone. With a show like, say, Gurren Lagann, it is able to get away with more different character designs because it is a more lighthearted show. Singular Point so far does not give me the impression of a lighthearted show. Like I said, it gives me a middle stretch of Eva vibes. So when I see these characters all lined up side by side, I can't help but be a little weirded out seeing all these different styles of characters that are all supposed to be in the same show. Perhaps I could be completely wrong in regards to all of this. Maybe this is just how a majority of Japanese anime are, and my very small exposure to anime has given me a taste of something that isn't usually the norm. And going beyond that, maybe this show will be a lot more lighthearted than what the trailers are showcasing. I don't know. I can only go off of the impressions that I have now, and from what we have right now, I think it looks a little weird. Another big problem that I have with the animation is the 3D CG in regards to the monster stuff. Once again, the aesthetics don't blend in all that well. The mixing between these more simplistic 2D animated characters and the highly detailed 3D monsters doesn't look that good. I think this could have worked if the monsters were significantly less detailed and had much smoother textures. I hate to bring it up again, but Eva perfected the look of 3D animated monsters and mechs in the Rebuild movies. They don't look too out of place with the already established world, and in the case of the Evas, the switch between 2D and 3D isn't so distracting. Singular Point is. I get that it might be a budgetary thing, that this is just as good as it can look, but still, it is distracting and something that I do have to point out. I get that the blending of CGI monsters and 2D characters was inevitable, I just think that it could have looked better than what we have gotten. The second point that I want to bring up is something that technically doesn't have to do with the show overall, but I still want to bring up regardless. What exactly is the fan reaction to Singular Point going to be? Over the past few years, I think it is pretty safe to conclude that there is a fairly solid idea of what Godzilla fans are looking for in a Godzilla movie, or in this case, series. Lots of fan service, lots of Godzilla, and of course, lots of monster fights. And from the looks of it, that's what we're going to get with Singular Point. My best guess for the fan reaction is that either the show is going to be really good and fans will be satisfied with what we have gotten, or fans will be praising the show for its inclusion of all these older monsters and fight scenes, even if the final product turns out to be mediocre or even bad. I would love to be proven wrong, but I have a feeling that I will be the one saying I told you so. I also do have a track record of being able to predict these sorts of things. May we flash back to December 2018. But I can't help but think that this movie will be praised to no end because Godzilla punched King Ghidorah in the face. And unfortunately, it already is if reactions are anything to go by. That clip was in reference to the two Godzilla King of the Monsters trailers that were released at the time. Being afraid that the reactions were going to be mostly just, this movie was great because monsters fight. And I think we all know how that turned out. I do really want to be proven wrong with Godzilla Singular Point though. We don't have much to go off of in terms of story or characters that we have gotten from the trailer. I don't know if Singular Point is a show that I'm going to like or not. I'm excited for sure, but ultimately we'll just have to wait and see when it eventually does come out this April. But these were just my thoughts and I want to know yours. Do you think that Godzilla Singular Point is going to be good, trash, or somewhere in between? What are you guys excited about, or what are you dreading? Be sure to follow my social medias and join my Discord server, which are all linked in the description below. Either way, I'm Sam the Geigen fan, telling you all to wash your hands.